this is a paint tutorial on how to create this like blackness around the edge here. You can use the ink pads, or you can use one of these artist crayons. They have them just in the like your craft store, like Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. They're in the section where they have like the I think they're like paint markers and stuff like that. Not sure exactly in each store where they have them, but they do have these art crayons. Mine's a little bit full of paint, but you can use these, or we also have, I'll show you my collection of, I have a lot of these distress inks, and I just grab one of these. This is one of the distress inks. They do come in 4 packs. You can get them at Michael's. I think they're $13.99, but then you can use a coupon. So you can also use this to get the edge, or you can use one of these. I personally like the black on the white, just so it looks a little bit more old. If I'm trying to go for an antique look, I use like a brown. So I'm just gonna set that down here. And for this tutorial, I'm gonna use the crayon. You could use either one. It doesn't matter which one you use. I just personally like the crayon a little bit better, just have a little bit more control. So I went ahead and just did an example so you can see what the finished look is going to look like. And I did not use white per se on the skulls. I used this chalk paint, and it's called sheepskin. And they have these little small containers of chalk paint at Hobby Lobby, and only $1.79. So they're actually pretty reasonable on the price. So I just went ahead and just put a layer really quick, just with a regular brush. And they have these brushes at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and they're pretty cheap. No special brushes at all needed. I just use regular craft brushes. So what I do is I take the art crayon and I just rub it along the edge. I'm just gonna put a little along the edge. And it doesn't matter if you get it like, you know, over a little bit, or you make a little bit of a mistake, because you're gonna rub it out anyways. So I just put it along the edge. It does not have to be perfect. So for this guy, you do not have to paint the top of his hat, because you're going to put his hat on. So I'll do another tutorial for the flowers, and I'll show you how I distress all of those. So I just wanted to do a separate tutorial. See, I made a mistake there. It's okay. I just want to do a separate tutorial for just the white with the black, and I can show you how the other colors work too, because I have almost all the colors of the distress inks, and they also come in larger ink pads too. I just like the smaller ones, so I have a little bit more control, just because I have gotten the bigger ones, and they are harder to work with because they are so big that you'll end up getting like a corner, and then you'll kind of make a little bit of a mess with your project. The smaller ones are a little bit easier to use. So I'm trying to go a little slow so you can see this. Usually I work a little faster. So they just kind of go around, and then you can put some in here for his little jaw. And you can just kind of rub some in his little missing teeth holes here. Okay, so there's the whole thing. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna take my finger. You can see my fingers are a mess. This is why my fingers are always a mess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rub with my finger. You can do the same exact thing with the ink pad. I just feel like I have a little bit more control with the crayon, but you just kind of rub that along the edges, and does not have to be perfect. Like I said, actually I think the more imperfect, the better it looks. So if you make a mistake, that's okay. I don't mind making mistakes. I feel like mistakes are part of the plan. So just kind of rub it in there, and you can already see it starting to look like the other one. And you just keep rubbing. There's his eye holes, and this is going to be black underneath too, so it's going to look really cool. So there's his eye, and here's that part where I made the mistake, and look, it's already rubbing out. You can't even Can't even tell I made that mistake. It's just gonna be a little extra black right there, but what's gonna be cool is that you're gonna rub your finger over the whole thing when you're done. So here's this. I really love the way this looks. It looks so like spooky. If you wanted to, you could even like take like one of those dot tools and put like dots around the eyes, and you could do like a sugar skull. I did not add any of those extra embellishments on the file, so that way you could do it with or without that. You could kind of create your own style for this file. So there's his teeth. I'm just gonna kind of rub those in. And then what I'm gonna do when I'm all finished, rubbing these all together, now that it's all pretty much finished, what I do is I take this and then I just rub my finger over the whole thing and just kind of rub that whole thing across the top like I did on this one, so it's not completely like so bright white, and you can see how it starts to blend it all together. And I don't mind if it's not perfect, like it's okay. So you can see that, and it's gonna start blending. And see, because you still have it on your finger, you're just gonna keep blending. And what's nice about this crayon is it just blends so nicely. The inks do the same thing. They blend so nice. So that's how I get this cool effect. I did the same thing on the deer. I used the inks on that, but you can do the crayon too. So that's how I got these really cool looks on this. So, and if I want to make it look a little bit more pronounced, I can go back and add more. I think I want to add more to this one because I don't think I did it dark enough that I wanted, because I really like this one a little bit better. So I'm going to go back and I'll add a little bit more. Like, it's really, like, I say less is more when you first start. Like, you can always go back and add more. So here's this here. And with this one, you don't have to paint the whole thing here because you're gonna cover that part up with the florals. And we're gonna do, I'll add a separate tutorial for the flowers. So I'm gonna go back and just add more because I'm like, I think I like the way I did the other one better. So, and that's what's nice. You can just go back, add more. So there it is. Look at that. That's really fun. So, and you can just keep going back and adding. That's what I like. If you do make a mistake and you're like, oh, I put too much on that, just go back and add more chalk paint. Just use your chalk paint and paint over that part you didn't like. So like I said, making mistakes is all part of it, and it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Go back and fix it with some more paint. So there's our skull so far. So that's the really cool, like that black outline. Like I said, it's really cool. You just rub it in with your finger. If you have a sponge, I guess you could do that. I just like my fingers to have a little bit more control. So that's how I get that neat outline on there. All right, I will add some more tutorials today. Have a great rest of your day.